So guys, this car might be a newer, younger, more powerful car, but sometimes in life, size really matters. What? Wait a minute. God damn it! I did it again! 1 second. Shazam!
Size and the old school brute force of a thunderous old V8. Guys, welcome back to RBR, and today I'm happy and I'm extremely sad all at the same time because I have just picked up the last ever new C63 to have both a V8 engine and to be rear wheel drive. And if you let the sadness of that fact sink in for just a second, only then do you really realize the finality of the C63 and why this edition is aptly called the Final Edition, because regardless of what that future car will be like, it is missing the basic key ingredients that made that name that name. Whether that future car deserves the name C63 is something that I have to unpack in the future. I'm going to be driving that car soon. The co-drive I had didn't have a final exhaust or final sound software, which is half the experience of C63, so there was nothing to really comment about. But like I said, we'll get to that in the future. Today, I want to show you what's under the covers and every detail of the Final Edition. It's a really strange edition because it angers me as much as it brings me joy. And in terms of the anger, I owe it to you AMG fans to tell you why it angers me. And in terms of the joy, I will show you every single detail of the Final Edition, inside and out. I will show you the small and big changes that I've made to my personal car, changes new to this year and next that you can also make to your AMG to make them more special. And then finally, a little surprise about the exhaust that AMG have done on this particular car. So loads to go through, but let's have a look at this now. The last C63 with a V8. Now guys, before we shoot off, today's episode of RBR is kindly sponsored by returning sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid have set the bar in terms of console quality graphics on mobile. They have had hundreds of updates over the years, up to almost 600 characters, consistent support, new events, and new offers happening all the time. Recently, I've been using some really cool champions. For example, the epic level champion, Royal Guard, who's brilliant at destroying the in-game bosses. Then we have Jintora, who's a legendary who specializes in attacking one specific character and shredding them to bits. And then Kyoto, who's one of the best defenders in the whole game, also a legendary character. And just look at the graphics. I mean, it always blows me away to think that this is just a mobile game. Right now, Raid are running a Halloween campaign that's running up to the 5th of November, where you can win not only in-game prizes, but real-world prizes as well. So we're talking $1,000 Amazon gift cards, we're talking in-game epic and legendary champions as well. And the best thing about all of this is it's free. So new players, all you have to do is download Raid from the link in the description below, my link, then get your new Polarium ID and go to trickortreat.polarium.com. The link is in the description below. I made it super easy for you. Put your ID in, spin the wheel, and you win a prize. That's it. It's literally as simple as that. And remember, that only runs up to the 5th of November. Now, if you haven't got Raid, scan my QR code up here. You can get it right now, and you'll also get, for a limited time only, $30 worth of free bonuses. So we're talking a free epic champion called Ina, who you can see on screen here, and 200k silver, 1 energy refill, 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon champions in game. All you have to do to avail it is go to this part of the inbox in your game, and you'll be able to get it straight away. So guys, that's Raid. Many thanks as always for supporting our regular sponsors. So guys, the last time we had the C63 S Coupe on the channel was when I was showing you the best mods to do on my own personal Edition 1. This was a car that I wanted to keep forever, which I end up saying a lot about cars, I end up selling them, which is honestly not intentional. But when I heard at the tail end of last year that a Final Edition was coming, on the balance of probabilities, I thought, let's give it a go. Maybe it will be quite special. So I sold my Edition 1 and waited for the Final Edition to come. Now, like I said, this is an edition that wound up pissing me off as much as it brought me joy. And I will get to that in a minute. First, let's actually get the covers off this car. Now I did, as I say, already pick up this car in the morning from Mercedes-Benz of Northampton, where I got my G63, my GT Black Series, the SL, etc. Super quick pickup because I wanted to give you guys a bit more of a personal experience here at home and show you all the details of the Final Edition, because it is actually pretty sweet looking. So the first thing that surprised me about this edition was the fact that it actually came with a unique car cover, which says, as you can see, AMG C63 S Final Edition. It's got the number of the side, 1 of 499, and that normally is only reserved for like Black Series level cars. So it's nice that they gave it that touch. Anyway, I talked too much. Let's get the covers off, shall we? It's a really special edition. It's very, very AMG. It actually really reminds me of my GT Black Series as well. What do you think of that? Now, I know a lot of you have probably already seen it on social media, and you'll be immediately able to tell that mine is a little bit different, as always. So let me talk you through all of it right now. So guys, that is the C63 S Final Edition, or in fact, actually that's mine. Let me show you the standard car first. Let's talk about what you get in this Final Edition. So the paint that you get is Magno Graphite Grey, which to be fair is a series standard C63S facelift paint. So nothing too special on that. The wheels are repainted, your standard multi-spoke wheels repainted in a satin finish with black on the inside, so bicolor, and silver on the outside. The center cap's quite nice as well, as you can see. You get motorsport inspired livery on the sides and on the bonnet, and then you get on the C-pillar the Affalterbach crest, matching some other recent special editions as well. Now, a weird thing happened with all the UK cars where someone somewhere forgot to order night package, which is why when you see social media pictures of the cars, they've all got chrome trims everywhere. And that's something that will be rectified in most of the cars of any owners who actually care. I myself will probably keep the exhaust trim because I like to see the exhausts and I don't like to see them blacked out. So that's your exterior of the Final Edition. Not much different, there's not much unique going on here, is there, which I'll get onto in a minute. There's 499 units in the entire world. The UK gets 45 of them. In the rest of the world, you can actually get a cabriolet as well in certain markets, I believe. So that's the exterior. Now, for the UK market, we weren't originally going to get carbon ceramic brakes, okay? And that's when I come in for you guys, and I begged and pleaded. I didn't even have to beg and plead. I asked MB UK very nicely if they could bring that in because I think it would really suit this edition, and luckily, like the rest of the world now, they added in the carbon ceramic brake option, which you see on my car as well. Inside the car, again, it's a series standard interior basically of black nappa and yellow details that, again, you could order on the normal car, but you do get matte carbon fiber on the inside. Again, and I'll show you inside when we go in a little bit later. So that was your normal specification. And for me, this just wasn't enough, okay? Because it did not ring true to how I see a C63. So I've made some changes. The first and most obvious, the lighter AMG performance wheels that debuted on the GTR and were immediately available on the C63 S Coupe when it launched in the 205 series. Threw them straight on because they look so much better. They make the car look like the old Hammers of AMG. So I appreciate that, especially with the paint job and the silver details. I think it really, really works well. Then I took off the bonnet stripe, which I personally thought looked absolutely awful. And now the whole car just sings to me. I don't mind the stripe on the side. It's a little bit Black Adam, isn't it? Which these days I'm not opposed to at all. So as you can see, I think it looks a lot more uniform without having the stripe there. And if we go on the side now, you can see the side look with the performance alloys just looks absolutely stunning, doesn't it? And then the side stripe really suits it as well, I think. I'd love to know what you guys think. I don't actually mind having the silver window trims, you know, with the silver wheels. I think it all kind of actually ties in quite nicely. I know the yellow black series in the back is distracting. Please try to pay attention to what I'm doing here, okay? So these are the performance wheels with the carbon ceramic brakes. Absolutely gorgeous. Really remind me of the old monoblocks, even more than the new monoblocks do. Famously, you don't get CCBs on the back, they're just steels, but we found that you don't really need them. Here's the stripe. So this is finished in a gloss finish. You get a metallic grey and then a flat yellow, which again, it contrasts nicely to the Magno paintwork here. And then this is your AMG crest on the seat. But it's a nice touch, I like that. Anything where AMG kind of, you know, really accentuate their heritage really speaks to me as a customer. And like I said, having the silver pipes on the back just makes the whole, you know, the whole car a bit more theatrical. I like that, but nothing else to tell you Final Edition. You know, no badging difference, you know, no unique paintwork. I mean, this is something that we have to talk about now. You do get aerodynamic package as standard, so the bigger side sills here, which are significantly bigger than the standard C63 S ones. You get the non-vent aeroflex on the back, a bigger lower diffuser, the more devil horned rear spoiler. and of course the extended front splitter here. As is tradition, we should peek under the hood as well and see which engine builder built our last C63, and there you see the name of our engine builder. Thank you, my friend, for that wonderful final V8. The other thing I did alongside the wheels is add the Pirelli P0. So these are the PZ4s, they're the newest version. I think the equivalent of the PS4Ss at Michelin. Really great grip, exceptionally good in wetter conditions as well, which is interesting, so we'll see how that pans out. But I thought we'd try these, as we've tried the Michelins many times in the past. It's time to give the Pirellis a go as well. Now, in terms of removing the bonnet stripe and then doing PPF on this car, that was all done by my friends at Dub Customs. You know them on the channel already. So they did that at Northampton for me, got rid of the stripe, added the PPF, which was supplied by CoverGuard, new player in the market. And what I love about what they've used here in the PPF is that there's barely any difference between the satin finish on the front and on the door where it doesn't have it. So that was really key for me. I didn't want to have something more glossy or more matte, so I'm very pleased with that. So big thanks to Dub and CoverGuard for sorting that out on a very, very tight schedule. But I'm about to make some mods on this car, and we're going to do it all together because I've received a lovely package which is over here, and this is the stuff I want to show you that you can put on your own car. Alright guys, here is my box of AMG wonders. First of all, some new AMG collection stuff like this new tote bag, which I didn't need at all, if I'm honest with you, but I bought because I'm a sucker for anything with that crest on it. Then the other cool thing, actually I'll save that for last, you're going to love that. Let's leave that here. Now you're going to love this. Look at that. It's so, so cool. This is a fuel clap replacement. This came on the Edition 55 cars. Here is the part number if you guys need it. Note that down. And you just need to put this on your AMGs. It'll fit all of them, okay? Whether it's A-Class, G-Class, old cars, whatever, get them on there. It's a great mod. The other one that's simple and cheap and I love doing is the AMG valve caps. So again, you get the crests on there. A bit crest obsessed, aren't I? It's fine. That doesn't matter. Again, nice to do if you really want to. I also got, yes, there's lots of valve caps in there, sorry, a new keyring for my C63 S, which is color coordinated, but the cool thing is it's a classic keyring. Let me show you now. All right guys, here we go. Check this out, you're gonna like this a lot. First of all, it's got the crest on it. It's yellow, so it matches our interior beautifully, but look at this. This is my favorite bit. The classic AMG logo from the hammers of old. You know, how cool is that? Matches it beautifully. Look at that. Love it. They need to bring more heritage. I would have loved if they put this badge on the rear of that. How cool would that have looked? Can you imagine? That would have looked fantastic, in my opinion. And now finally, the best one of all of them. Check this out. I've stolen the best part on the new C63 and we're going to put it on my car. It is indeed the replacement bonnet symbol with the Affalterbach logo, something that all AMGs should always have had. And I'm going to pop it on this car right now with you guys. And here you go. How good does that look? Looks fantastic on there. Nicked the best part of the new C63 and shoved it on the best last C63. So like I said, you guys can grab that. I'll show you the part number now. Take a note of it and you'll have to probably use some 3M to stick on because the grommets are different, but that's fine. It's worth the effort. The other little mod I did that it actually means a bit more to me than anyone else, but this Kunden Center plate holder I got on my first ever AMG road trip when I drove to Affalterbach with all my friends, and I've had it on every C63S since, and it's nice to have that back on my final car as well. Now let's head inside and I'll show you the difference in the interior, or perhaps lack thereof. So this black nappa and yellow detailed interior pretty much available in the standard C63S facelift as well. So you get the AMG Performance bucket seats with the yellow details on the side here, as you can see. But one difference is you do get the matte carbon fiber like we had in the Edition 1, which is nice. Of course, you get the plaque here for Final Edition, 1 of 499, which replaces the AMG one. And one thing I noticed, you actually get a darker trim in your aluminium here. Only a Mercedes nerd would really notice. You can kind of see the difference between there and there. So that's darker compared to the normal one, which is a nice change. Like the Edition 1, you also get the yellow side sills here as you walk in. Of course, I'm all car seated up, family man. C63 is good for that. And then finally on the steering wheel, you get the edition plaque at the bottom spoke, which looks like, what's going on here? Exhaust on, or else. Speaking of which, my t-shirt, I need to show you. So yes, my t-shirt. This is the RBR exhaust on or else t-shirt. First ever piece of merch that we've ever done on the channel. And it's a piece of merch that's about you guys rather than being about us or the channel. It's about that feeling of emotion when it comes to vehicles, not just AMGs, any car. It could be a Porsche, it could be an AMG, it could be a BMW. It's about having that lovely visceral exhaust note from your engine and always keeping it to the maximum. Been working this for about 3 years now. Different t-shirt suppliers trying to, see, do we do normal print, do we do raised vinyl, do we do flock, and then we settle on this lovely metallic silver embroidery that you can see here. It looks great. You can sign up for the t-shirt release, link in the description below so you can be part of the first run. I think you guys are going to love it because I think it really speaks to why we love these type of cars so much. So let's be honest about this final edition. It is a massive disappointment. As the final car to sign off the C63 V8s, which are so legendary, it's a car that doesn't have anything unique about it, really. And if you just said it was a C63 S Coupe facelift with a bunch of stickers on it, it'd be hard for me to argue with you. Because, the paint is not unique. The standard wheels on it are simply a repaint of the other ones. The interior you can get anywhere. Yes, you've got a badge on the C-pillar, but really that's about it. Technically, on a technical basis, it's identical to the normal one. So you haven't got any more power, you haven't got any modification to the gearbox software, no lighter weight, no fruitier exhaust, no new suspension setup. I mean, you'd want something, anything, right? I mean, let's be honest about this. BMW M have been killing it. Last generation with all the CSs, we had, one for the M3, one for the M4, and then this generation with the CSL, whatever we might say about it, whether it's really good or a disappointment, it's there, they made it, and it's a lot faster than the normal M4. Hell, even Audi are in on the game with the RS5 and RS4 competition that I just reviewed prior to this video. And it's bad when there's not a single social media post, there's not even a press release for this edition. Okay, why? What, was it fear? Fear of, V8s in this climate crazy world of ours, or fear of what the reaction to the new C63S? Let's not talk about, the V8 too much. And AMG, I consider them the foremost, in-brand performance house, and they've essentially abandoned their most popular car and, hence their biggest customer base, and not given it a final proper send-off. Which is a real shame. That's a proper final send-off back there in the garage, the Black Series. Which in fact, I've told you guys this before, they were planning to make a proper track-focused one, and we saw it running around the Nürburgring, didn't we? With the wing on the back, brilliant blue car, etc. And I knew a few people who knew a little bit about it, and they said, it was going to be really good titanium exhaust, etc. Apparently, rumours are, what happened was that AMG had to decide between either making that special car or making the GT Black Series, and we all know what they chose in the end. I also heard the factory who build these in Bremen were not interested in doing another 205 C63 variant, which it's such a shame. I mean, I think there's a massive disconnect here between customers and the company. Luckily, there are some heroes behind the scenes at AMG who did not want the C63 to go without a final edition. Those people are really the soul of the company. And they pushed and they pushed and they pushed for something, anything, as a final send-off. So, conversely, I am super, super grateful that this car does exist. It does look brilliant. For me, it holds a special place, actually, this particular spec, because the first ever press trip was this facelift C63S launch at Bilsterberg track. The car was in the exact same spec with these wheels. So for me, it's a really nice connection to my first proper press trip internationally, so I love it for that. And at least we can point to a final C63 edition that does exist, which is cool. Now, one thing I did find, speaking of that Bilsterberg trip, is that the exhaust on this final car is actually pretty good. There seems to be some changes. Let me show you the inside and show you those changes as well. I'm lucky that, and we are lucky that there are some heroes at AMG who are the employees, who are the soul of the company, who push this final edition through. If the big wigs had their way, we wouldn't have even had this. So I'm eternally grateful to those guys that they made this happen. In the future, what are you going to get? I don't think, as things stand, you'll never see another V8 C63. maybe there's a hero somewhere out there in Mercedes or AMG who can make a limited run track focused C or CLE AMG happen in the future with a V8. I really hope that happens. I think there's zero chance, if I'm honest, but a guy can dream, right? Now, there's one thing that's great about the Final Edition versus the facelift. The facelift, when I tested it at Bilsterberg, had a brilliant exhaust note. And when the customer cars got delivered, mine included, it didn't have that same exhaust. It would not pop on downshift. It would stop popping on overrun. It would stop popping on revs as well. And it was a really muted exhaust. And owners were pissed, rightfully so, in the forums and everything. I ended up selling that car because I just didn't get along with it and bought the pre-facelift. This car, not like that. Let me show you. They've done something to fix the exhaust since then. I did share a lot of videos with press actually saying, look, this is not right and look what the difference is. And they did take that on board, so I don't know whether something's changed in between now and then. Anyway, listen to this. That doesn't sound like my pre-facelift did, okay? They've done something to the exhaust software to revert it to what it was at Bilsterberg, which I'm so happy about. And I'm hoping that if you guys have a facelift C63, you can probably go back and try and get the updated software. Don't quote me, or you can quote me, but I have no idea whether that's possible or not. How brilliant does it sound? So huge thanks to AMG for sorting that out finally for the facelift cars. I don't want to be too negative. This is a fantastic car. I'm going to give you a full review of it, of course, because this last C63 V8 deserves it. I'm also going to give you that massive C63 shootout video with every variant that we've ever had. I know I've been promising it for years, but I think after the full cylinder comes out, it's more apt to do that then. So look forward to that. You're going to be surprised at the variants I bring along. I hope you've enjoyed this as well. And if you have, as always, please do like and subscribe to RBR, and I'll see you guys next time.